Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about what do I do after. You guys all saw his warm-up video, and if you haven't, go check that out, because then what happens is the next step for this 5-year-old. We talked in that warm-up video a little bit about his anatomy and a little bit about his conformation and a little bit about his way of going and what we were trying to accomplish in that warm-up. And now the next step. So I want to bring his body, his energy up a little bit. I want to have his withers kind of come up a little bit, but I don't do that by like really shortening the reins and cramming him up in there, right? Because that's just going to have him tighten his back. So all that work that I just did to loosen his back would be for naught. So I do shorten my reins a little bit. And I do have his energy a little bit more up. I do want a little more lift in the base of his neck and a lift in the withers. But I am obviously doing that in a subtle way because I still have a very good contact with him that he can reach out to the bridle as much as he needs. And I don't bring horses up by my reins anyhow, although my reins will naturally shorten, but I bring it up with my seat. And so the next step in his workout will be just a little bit more of this carriage in the walk, trot, and canter. And then depending how he feels with that each day is what then I go on and do. Is today a day that I challenge him? Is today a day that I just come out and do the status quo and build muscle memory and stuff like that? Or is this a day that I introduce maybe some lateral work? He has started the haunches in, the shoulder in, the leg. He's done some leg yields. That's not a start. He's done them. And so that's kind of where he is in his training. And, it might be that I come out and say, well, today we're going to work on some lateral work and we're going to, add that into the repertoire. So let's just go about it, and I will kind of discuss how I feel. And this would be like after my warm up, the next step of his training for today. Good. I want that nice, easy transition into the trot. I'm still rising here, and I'm going to ask for a little shoulder in. Little shoulder in, or a little shoulder off the track is going to help me get my inside leg on him and help me get that right hind coming up a little bit more underneath the center of gravity to help free up his shoulders so that he rides uphill a little bit more than he had. And we talk about his anatomy and his hind end and how he doesn't feel as much that he goes downhill as he looks. I want to be able to stretch out his stride a little bit and bring it back and have him stay on my seat and not dive down. I'm going to do just a little mini leg yield. Again, a chance to put my inside leg on him and affect his balance. Now we can start going a little deeper in the turns. I'm going to do another mini leg yield. Good. Good. Now notice when he goes into the leg yield, his rhythm is not as good as it is on the straightaway. That's a strength issue. That's a push issue from behind. That one's better. We will get there. See that little shift? But notice that after the leg yield is when I really get that longer stride. And this is something that he's learning. Good. So because it's always important to me, especially for showing and such, that my horse can come back to the walk and go from a walk to a free walk. It's just something that I put in my daily training so that they can just kind of come up, they can go back down, they can come back up, they can go back down, and it's not even looking like for show quality. I'm just looking for the adjustability to be there. And then for him not to care whether I shorten my reins, put my leg on, and see there, he cares a little bit, so I'm just going to little leg yield out. Good, so he gives me the ability to put my left leg on and without him caring so much. Good, and then we want a nice transition up into the trot. Good, good. So he can sometimes be a little sticky about those trot transitions, and so we do a lot of them. This way is a little bit harder, you'll see. This is where if I had a whip today, I would just lightly tap him on the left hind to kind of awaken that left hind's ability to kind of come up. You see how his balance changes though after a couple of those leg yields, and he loses the impulsion more this direction. Good. And a little deeper in the turn. A little deeper in the turn. Harder form in this direction for sure. A little shoulder four. I feel like I'm having to use my inside leg a little too much. Yeah, so I want to just kind of get him. Yeah, so my leg goes on, and then, good. That was better. I lose a lot of voice commands when I ride, especially with the youngsters as they're learning what I want. You notice the angle's not as good to the left. That's okay. That's like, I want to make sure I stay really punchy in my seat, meaning I don't get like this to drive. I'm over exaggerating, but I want to sort of bring him up with me, and then we get that longer stride. Good, and as always, downward transition, walk in like regular walk with balance. So he learns these transitions are nothing to get worried about. Little shoulder four there. A chance, whenever they jig, you need to find a chance to put your inside leg on. And so a piece of lateral work built in there is the best way to do that. Okay, so that's our next step in the trot. Come back for the next video and we'll show you the next step in the canter work with him. That's all for today. Thanks, guys.